if the brain is the driver and relay on information, how can I give specific information to make that job easy? Marks. Specific, precise, physical marks for every different point of the corner. When you approach the corner, your brain will need specific information through your senses to make the calculations and execute very complex and precise movements. All the difference in our lap times is exactly here in those calculations and have nothing to do with your hands or your legs. In this episode, I will suggest few hacks I'm using to improve my times and consistency. For every corner, you need braking point, turning point, apex, and exit point. My first goal is to identify specific physical marks for each point. For example, braking point mark usually is easy because you can afford to physically focus on the mark itself, and that can be sign 150 or some mark on the road. The most difficult and the most important mark is the turning point. It's the most important because it will guide you to the apex, which usually is in blind spot, and most difficult because you already shift your vision looking for the apex. I asked over 20 people the last week about their turn in specific mark, and no one has. Everybody turn on guess and feelings. As I've said before, why we just don't give our brain precise information and make that job easy? So, for turning marks, I usually look for something big outside of the road, and that can be house or tree for specific reason. First, because I already shift my view to the apex, I need something big to spot with my peripheral vision. And second, at this point of the track, usually the cars are very close together and your vision is blocked. When I identify my specific marks for every single point, is very easy to control my pace as the race progresses and the tires wearing off. All I have to do now is just shifting a little bit my inputs in reference to those specific points and make my brain job so easy. Now we arrive to the most beautiful part of this episode. Having those reference points for your corner, you can now identify your perfect apex just shifting a little bit the marks. We know if we go for early apex, we must shift the turning point. We will gain a lot of the entry, but we will lose everything on the way out till the next braking point. If we go for late apex, we're gonna lose lots on the entry, but we'll have amazing exit and we'll gain that lost time back. Usually the perfect apex is somewhere in the middle, and the easiest way for me to find it is my physical marks I use for every point. Now, having those marks, I can consciously ask my brain to turn or brake earlier or later in reference to those points. But remember, every different apex is important. A racing line is like a living thing and can change in any given moment, and you must be ready for that. Let me give you an example how John and me prepare for a race. First, I run for early apex just to make sure I will ruin his perfect line for the next fast left. And now I brake early and I will use the perfect line to win the outside for the next. And I repeat the cutback because I need the inside for the right. And I will keep alongside and will win the last. In the next video, I will break down how I choose my lines for complex series of corners, like the first sector of Suzuka, in which I have the world record with few different cars on iRacing. But for now, if you don't have specific physical marks for the entry of your corners, try for a week without changing anything in your driving. Just pick up those marks and you will be surprised how much you will unload your brain and how consistent you will become. See you in the next one.